Yo, what's happening, world? B Marsh Boxing. I'm back at it once again with another post-fight review. We got this fight between Subriel Matias, the IBF 140-pound champion, versus the challenger Shohjahon Ergashev, a guy that I've been covering. I've covered both of these guys, of course, on my channel, but I was covering Shohjahon when he was demolishing guys on Showbox. And I said he's going to get a world title opportunity, possibly will be a world champion. So I was looking forward to this fight, as a matter of fact, more than the main event, you know what I'm saying, or just as much as the main event. The first two rounds, I gave it to Sean Jahan, you know. He was letting his hands go, throwing punches and bunches, combinations. Started off the fight with a big straight left hand, you know. This guy, Matias, was in the high guard, you know what I mean, had the tight high guard. Punches was slipping, getting through, you know. But then Matias, excuse me, I'm kind of listening to the post-fight interview. So, you know, Shohjahon was looking real good in there, you know what I mean? The guy was, his punch output, Matias in the first two rounds was pretty low. You know, it was basically blocking punches and getting hit with punches, you know what I mean? But round three, I guess he picked up or gathered up enough information and data that he needed, and he started to walk down Shohjahon. And a lot of holes got exposed in Shohjahon Ergashev's game, you know, most specifically his footwork. I noticed how this guy, Subriel Matias, was now cutting off the ring superbly, and the guy had Ergashev was just there. He was moving backwards now. Yeah, I mean, he was now getting his back caught on the ropes. He was now on the defensive on the back foot, and none of his punches had any of the same oomph like they did in the first two punches. You know what I'm saying? They did not at all, you know what I mean? So I could see punching going backwards or fighting going backwards on the back foot is an issue for the man Shinjahin, which is well and fine. But the part that really where he got exposed, in my opinion, was his defense. You know, he had little to no head movement in there. Easy target now for Subriel Matias, picking off these weak ass soft shots that Sean Jahan was now throwing in the third round. In the first two rounds, believe me, man, he was throwing enough leather in there. And I was like, yeah, you know, he's coming into the fight 23-0 with 20 KOs. You know what I mean? I've watched numerous of his fights. It looks like he's heavy handed. But going backwards, he had issues, especially with a murderous puncher like the man Subriel Matias. You know, this guy's a murderous puncher. No hyperbole, no conjecture. He's a heavy handed, hard hitting son of a bee. You know what I mean? Now, Matias picking off these shots, walking him down, throwing body shots. The guy's head movement was non existent. He was clinching now a lot in round three. You know what I mean? But he started getting hit with the big shots. Now he forgot how to fight. All that clinching shit, he forgot how to do that. Now he's just basically trying to bob and weave his way out of danger when his back is on the ropes, which is great. The guy Matias is throwing punches and bunches, but he's not throwing nothing of consequence back. He's not counter punching at all. Matias, man, just started to body him, man. Just started to throw hard leather, just walking him down, body shots, head shots. The guy's basically his defense, Shunjahan, was to duck low. And guess what was happening, man? He got caught in round four with like four uppercuts in a row. All he was doing was putting his head and face and chin right in position for Matias to throw them right uppercuts. You know what I mean? And he caught him with three or four of them in a row. And that's where the damage started to accumulate. Rounds three, four, and five was just it was just a thorough beating that the man Matias took. I'm sorry, Igashev took in there. Round six, round six didn't begin because right before it was supposed to begin, Dmitry Salita, who is the promoter of Ergashev, you know what I mean? You know, the Detroit connection, Crunk Gym connection, because the man Ergashev's trainer is uh, Javon Sugar Hill, you know what I mean, Emmanuel Stewart's nephew. So he came up on the ropes, and I knew this guy's probably coming to translate that Ergashev don't want to fight no more, and that's exactly what happened. This man quit. The man quit, man, right before round six. He didn't get dropped or anything. He took some big punches in there. Well, he landed some big punches on Matias in the first two rounds, too. Matias ain't quit. It's now when the man Matias started to apply vicious pressure on his ass. This man quit, and I'm very disappointed, man. This is disgusting, man. Them fellas should not. If I was Sugar Hill, man, I'd drop this guy. Get him up out of there. I know Tyson Fury wet the bed with Sugar Hill versus Ngannou, you know. But at the end of the day, this right here was a disappointing effort from the man Shohjahon. I expected better from a man who has an extensive amateur background as he does, coming from a place which has rich amateur pedigree in boxing in Uzbekistan. And this guy's undefeated, 23 and 0, got more professional fights than and knockouts than Subriel Matias had coming into this fight. I don't like this type of shit, man. The man just quit, man. You know what I'm saying? And it was very disappointing because, like I said, man, this is a very good card, ladies and gents, coming into this David Benavidez. The whole undercard, as far as the four televised pay-per-view fights, is like that, except Jamal Charlo and small Jose Benavidez. But you never know. You know, Jamal Charlo missed weight. You know what I'm saying? Them fellas out here looking like a Pookie and Ray Ray. Man didn't even make weight, and they were supposed to, and the fight is at a catch weight, which makes it even more worse. You never know. Benavidez might pull off the upset. You never know. And that's the fight next. But I was really looking forward to Subriel Matias fight versus Sean Jahan. Like I said, I've been covering his fights at least since 2018, 2019. And I said this guy's on his way to get himself a world title opportunity. And here it is. I thought it was a little delayed, but obviously, man, this guy ain't cut out for the world class level. Now, can he become a world champion in the future? Yeah, of course. You know, you could go back and correct your mistakes, sharpen up your toolbox and whatnot. You know, but this was a disappointing effort on a big stage. You know, Shinjahan wasn't even really fighting on regular Showtime cards. You know what I mean? He wasn't fighting on no Showtime cards as a challenger or the A side. Here he is, mostly came from Showbox to fight for a world title here on a pay-per-view card. And this man quit. Disgusting, man. Very disappointed at a fighter who I thought had a good, had a promising career ahead of him. I'm not saying that he still doesn't, but this was very disappointing. You know what I mean? We got some people in the chat, I believe, from Uzbekistan because the language looks like it's written in Russian. Salute to everybody. Thank you for coming through and checking out this post-fight review. Unfortunately, I don't know how to read Russian alphabet or letters, so I don't know what y'all saying. AK97 says, thanks, man. Salute to you. Big up, big up. Um, but Shonjahan, man, this was a very disappointing effort, man. They called this kid, Shonjahan as a kind of his nickname. What was his nickname? Like this, it's some kind of, if I'm not mistaken, if it's a Russian Jewish or something to that effect. You know what I mean? You know, descendant of Tamerlan. You know what I mean? And the Southpaw, like I said, man, Crunk Jim, man, don't raise no quitters. You know what I mean? I'm a big fan of fighters from the Crunk Gym Detroit. And this right here, man, was not it, man. A world title opportunity, ladies and gents. Sean Jahan is a fighter, like I said, knocking out fellas left and right. You know what I mean? Most of his fights, some fellas are even quitting. You know, he went the distance. The most notable name probably on his resume is Mikhail Fox, and he's from my area out here in the D.C., Maryland area. You know what I mean? Mikhail Fox. you know. Tall, he's a tall 140 pounder. I believe he's probably like 6 feet, 6'1" or something, with an 81-inch reach. That's the best name that Shohjahon has beat. But, man, very disappointing, especially considering the fact that Subriel Matias is a very good heavy-handed puncher, you know what I mean? He's coming into this fight with 20, what was it, 19 wins and one loss, you know what I mean? But he had 19 KOs. Every single victory he has was by knockout. And I saw when he lost to that guy named Petros Aninayan, and that was on, I believe, Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury undercard. And I've been paying attention to him, you know what I mean? He picked up a lot of these he picked up an IBF belt when what's his name? Vacated. What's the guy's the Scottish guy, the guy from Scotland, Josh Taylor, vacated a lot of his straps, the IBF strap in particular, and Matias beat the Ponce guy, Jeremiah Ponce. But Shohjahon looked great in the first 2 rounds, y'all. I was sitting here like, yes, indeed, I like what I see. Put them punches together. But you see, when the pressure got applied, and we know Matias is a front foot fighter, a guy who's not going backwards. At least even with his little fake ass peekaboo defense behind the high guard, he's protecting himself. Even though some punches did get in and he got caught with some big straight left hands by Shohjahon in the first 2 rounds, at least he's keeping his defense tight, unlike Shohjahon's defense, which was horrible. I don't know what kind of defense, or even if defense really is a strong point suit or strong point of Javel Sugar Hill's training, but it was non-existent. His defense was horrid, and the footwork was to me where he got exposed. He couldn't get out the way, or as far as sticking and moving, or even using his footwork to get out of punches. He did pivot. He had one nice little pivot, Sean Jahan did, when he was on the ropes, and he kind of pivoted out of there, but he didn't do what a Floyd Mayweather would do and throw that check right hook from the southpaw stance. And that's what was going on, especially when he had his back on the ropes and evading, especially in round 5. He was bobbing and weaving. He was ducking a lot of these punches, getting out the way, but he ain't throwing nothing back of consequence. He's not throwing no punches back. And you can't do that versus this guy. And it almost seemed to a point when Matias started now throwing big, hard hitting shots. Shohjahon was really now, you know, now throwing punches. Now basically, like, how do I explain it? Like, in a fight where the more timid guy is gonna throw little timid punch, little pity pat punches, hoping that the opponent is gonna throw the same. Rather than throwing hard punches and protecting yourself too, you know what I mean? Keeping your guard up with it. And he's fighting in a little fake ass Philly shell too, you know what I mean? But he doesn't have his right hand up like a telephone to block the punches with his forearm and his shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Let me turn the volume down a little bit before I get a copyright from Showtime saying that I'm broadcasting they fight. Excuse me. Jamel Charlo just came into the ring, y'all. But anyways, he's not keeping his the hand up like a telephone, putting his chin down as if you got an apple under your chin, keeping that right hand up. So, yo, he got a little fake ass Philly shell, but all the punches Matias was throwing was getting through. I'm saying, and I don't know, maybe it's just me. I thought Sean Jahan had a bright future, and I'm like I said, I'm saying his career is not over, but he is an older guy. This is his first world title opportunity at 31 years old. He's not 23 or 21. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy who was in the amateurs for a long time, and here he is as a professional coming into this fight undefeated. But unfortunately for him, man, he wet the bed, y'all. There ain't nothing. There's really no two ways around it. You know what I mean? Can he come back from this? Yeah, he can. He can come back from it. Yeah, I mean, but Shohjahon really disappointed, man. But big up to Matias, you know. Matias is a guy who has a fun, exciting style as far as obviously he's a knockout artist. That's what people love to see. Fellas get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? Um, he wants to become a future big star in a rich boxing tradition country like Puerto Rico. You know what I'm saying? And I wish him all the best. You know what I mean? He's exciting so far, so good. Got no complaints whatsoever. I'd like to see him unify, do what you got to do. I'm not sure if Shohjahon was a mandatory. More than likely he was, especially considering Matias won this world title in his last fight, but it was a vacant title. And per IBF rules, your first title defense will be against a mandatory. You know what I mean? So Shohjahon, man, you got time, but you got to work, tighten up your toolbox, my boy. You got to sharpen up your defense. You got to work on your footwork. The footwork, man, on offense and defense. You know what I mean? And not being just a front foot fighter. You know what I'm saying? You got to know how to throw punches going backwards. And that's where Matias realized this guy punching power with him on the back foot, it's really not affecting him. You know what I mean? Man, big ups to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody from Uzbekistan. Um, there's a guy I was watching who's Batan Duzmatov. What was his name? Hassan Boy Duzmatov. I think Hasman Boy Duzmatov, if I'm not mistaken, has a professional loss. Hassan Boy Duzmatov. I'm sure you guys from Uzbekistan know him. You know what I'm saying? Hassan Boy Duzmatov. That was his name, right? A boxer. And he won he won a gold medal in the Olympics in 2020. You know what I mean? You know, but this is a guy who's, but if has he lost? Maybe he's not. Let me check. Let me check. Now he's probably 6-0, 5-0, 6-0 with 5 KOs. This is a guy Duzmatov who I've been watching since I seen him in the Olympics. You know what I mean? Um, he's a small guy, but Uzbekistan has a big you know, I love countries that love their boxing and they put it on as far as the Olympics and all that. They win medals for Uzbekistan. You know what I mean? You know, of course, some of these guys they stay in the amateur ranks too long and they come to boxing in their mid 20s, late 20s, and or maybe even early 30s. You know what I mean? Um, we got people naming some names here. New heavyweight champ AK-97 says, Buck, Buck Jalalov. Of course, I know Jalalov, man. Hey, B March Boxing, man. Go check out my playlist, y'all. I covered the 2021, 2020 Olympics in Japan. Of course, I saw Duzmatov. I saw Duzmatov. I've said Duzmatov, not Duzmatov. Jalalov. I've seen him in the 2016 Olympics. He beat the American Richard Torres for the gold medal. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's gonna do. He's probably gonna be a world champion too, you know, because this guy got the skills to pay the bills, and how he handled the man Torres in that in that Olympic game, he's a bad MF, no question. AK-47 97. Salute to you, man. I definitely know that guy. Salute to everybody, even the Puerto Ricans in this joint. Salute to everybody who came through. He says, all right, bro, I'll visit Uzbekistan, man. I'll be your tour guide. Hey, man, God willing, I'll come out to Uzbekistan. Shit, I'll come out there, God willing, man. You know, Jah guide and protect and give me the opportunity to come to Uzbekistan. I'll come out there, see what's really good, you know? But yeah, man, be March Boxing. Salute to everybody in the chat. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Please share. If you like the content, hit the thumbs up. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Salute to AK-97 and everybody else in the chat. Positive vibes always. I'm out of here. Gone.